Ferrari wants more than $50,000 to fix this 488. The catch is, it only has 12,000 miles on it. And you're probably wondering, how does a guy like me end up with a $300,000 Ferrari in his garage? It all started when I bought this cheap Ferrari and the transmission blew. I took it upon myself to fix it using the cheapest tools possible, from Harbor Freight. And that's when I got a midnight text from my friend Brandon Tatum looking for help with his Ferrari. He hadn't owned it very long and it became undrivable. And that's when Ferrari handed him a $50,000 repair bill on a car with only 12,000 miles. But for some reason, he's trusting me to fix it.
Ferrari, 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 Ferrari.
All right, man, tell us about your Ferrari. What's the story with this
All right,
thing?
man, as you can see, this is the most beautiful car on planet Earth. This is my baby. I got it a couple years ago, running it. It was good, everything was fine, and then the turbo went out. And how I know is I was on the freeway and I hit the gas and it was driving like a Honda Civic. And then it started smoking out the back, so I knew that it was something going on. Then, like every responsible person do, I went to go get it checked and they said, hey, you need a new turbo.
So what did Ferrari want for one turbo?
Just one turbo,
Yeah.
$25,000 for one turbo.
So it would have been $50,000.
It would have been $50,000 to replace both of those turbos.
And so a car with 12,000 miles
Yeah.
needs a $50,000
Yeah,
service
yeah.
already. Okay.
Which is absolutely insane. And it literally had been sitting for months because I refused to pay $50,000 to get this fixed.
So why'd you trust me? Why me?
Well, look, man, we got mutual friends. I seen your work online. I see what you did with your Ferrari, and you're a great guy.
Thank you.
Referred to me by trusted sources.
There we go.
And you know, just talking to you, man, and all the things you ran through, you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing. And I said, man, I'm gonna give it a try.
I appreciate
it saved me a lot of freaking money. If you ask me, I mean, I don't know if you mind me telling how much it cost.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get this whole thing done for under 10,000. We might even be able to get it done for 6,000 or 7,000.
Now you see why? You see why I'm working with him?
So we're gonna get this thing loaded up on the trailer, get it back to Chef Joni's shop, and hopefully in a couple of days we'll be able to bring it back and let him enjoy it again.
We're gonna see what Chef Joni is all about, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna see what he do with the turbos in this thing.
So we loaded it up on the trailer, and of course we used about 10 to 12 factory spec 2x4s to make it happen. One even sacrificed its life in the process. After 6 months of sitting in a warehouse, this Ferrari was finally heading somewhere. And once we got it back to my house, we carefully unloaded it, and the reality of the situation started to sink in. I had promised Brandon I'd have his Ferrari back in just a few days, but standing there looking at it, I couldn't help but wonder, how fast could I actually do this? So I made things even harder on myself. 24 hours to repair a $300,000 Ferrari that didn't even belong to me. And now it's sitting in my garage waiting for me to prove it. The challenge had officially begun. The next morning, my alarm went off at 5 a.m. If I was actually going to get this done in 24 hours, there wasn't a second to waste. But the first challenge wasn't fixing the Ferrari. It was getting it on the lift. I couldn't even get the jack underneath it, so I started pulling up part of my Swiss Trax flooring and sliding tiles underneath each wheel so I could have enough clearance for the quick jacks. Eventually, we got the Ferrari in the air, and the moment the wheels came off, things started moving quickly. Next was the fender liners, and once those were out of the way, I got my first real look at what Ferrari wanted $50,000 for, the turbos. With the fender liners out of the way, I moved up top and started disconnecting everything attached to the turbos, the electrical connectors, the PCV hoses, the intake piping, and then it was back underneath the car where I removed the intercooler piping and disconnected the oil lines and pulled the coolant lines since these are water cooled. A few V-band clamps later, I pushed the exhaust out of the way and finally got my first look at what had taken this Ferrari off the road. It wasn't pretty. The passenger side turbo was completely destroyed. The exhaust turbine had chewed itself apart and seized inside the housing. There was no question anymore, this turbo was done. And the crazy part, the turbos come right out through the rear wheel well. No engine removal, no pulling the drivetrain, which makes it even more crazy that Ferrari charges $50,000 for this. So a lot of people would think at 12,000 miles, this is a catastrophic failure, but this pretty much happens on every 488 that's not a pista in any car that had these turbos with the ceramic wheels in them, because all you have is this little knob holding on for dear life. So as this spins and gets hot, starts to wobble, and then it'll walk itself out of the turbo. And a lot of times it'll just blow to pieces and come right out your exhaust. So what I learned seeing online, this is probably not even that bad, but The difference in what we're gonna do now, the turbos that we got from Pure Turbos, they put a rod all the way through so it's pressed on, so there's a lot more engagement. And they're not any more heavy. They still spin as fast, you'll get a lot of performance out of them, but they're not made of glass like these ones are. So I'll show you guys the new turbos, and we'll get this thing back together and we'll rinse and repeat on the other side. So the problem with Ferrari's $50,000 solution is you're essentially getting the same design flaw that failed in the first place. So if I was going to do this job, I wanted something better. I told Brandon to go with Pure Turbos, which run $5,200 for the set, and they bolt up like OEM, but they fix the design flaw. I put in the new ring seals and I got the turbo back in. I replaced all the gaskets and O-rings it needed and reconnected the oil lines and the coolant lines. And before I got the intercooler piping back on, I made sure to clean it well because we're always professional. And with the turbos back in place and fully assembled, it was time for the first start. And after a repair like this, there's always a moment where you wonder if you forgot something, but there's only one way to find out. The fact that it had started was a huge relief, but starting it and fixing it are two different things. So before the first test drive, I decided I might as well change the oil while we're in here, and the 488 actually has 4 drain plugs. Once all the oil was drained out, I moved up top and I removed the cover for the oil filter. I got an OEM filter back in, and then I refilled it with about 8 quarts of oil. You have to check the oil level when it's hot because it is a dry sump system, but once I nailed the oil level, I got the fender liners back on, then the wheels, and then I lowered it down off the lift. And once I had it off the lift, I could put the under tray back on, and it was time to drive it. So now we take it for a drive and see how our handiwork is. No lights on the dash other than a tire pressure sensor and number plate lamp. I could hear the turbo spooling.
To tune the radio, you can say things like, tune to 95.
Shut up. Oh yeah, baby! Wow. This thing sounds like a Mack truck, baby. All right, let's take it for a pull. Oh my God. This thing is ridiculous. I think Brandon's gonna be very happy when he gets this thing back. That was like 50% throttle and I took it to like 5,000 RPM. Oh my God. I've driven a 458 before and it's fun, it's fast, but this is just a different level of car. Unfortunately, it's not my car, so we got to get this home to Brandon. So I'm gonna take it home, give it one look over, and if everything looks good, we're gonna have to say goodbye. At this point, it was about 5 p.m. and I had just made my 24-hour deadline, so I drove to deliver it to Brandon.
And so you did it same day, man.
Same day. I told you. I talked.
You were talking all that noise. I said, dude, he gonna be able to do that the same day? But you called me that morning.
Yep.
You said, hey, I'm gonna get it done. And what was it like? About 2 or 4 p.m.?
Yeah, probably 4 or 5 p.m.
And that's with the oil change, flush, test drive, everything.
Everything. As reluctant as I am to give these back to you, unfortunately, these keys belong to you.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
I got one more thing for you. This is a nostalgia spec keychain.
Oh, awesome.
So you trusted me with your Ferrari, your baby. And because of that, this car is now forever a part of the nostalgia spec story.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, like, cars are more than just being flashy, how much they cost. For me, it's the stories behind them, you know? Because of this car, you and I became friends and it brought us together. And so you can't do that any other way. So this is for you. So I hope every time you see that keychain, you don't just think of the Ferrari, you think of the story and our friendship. So
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, man.
Of course. Now is a great time to bring up, you could buy one of these keychains and become a part of the Nostalgia Spec story and win my custom BMW 335i. So go to nostalgiaspec.com, buy a keychain, buy any merch, and you can enter for your chance to win.
Appreciate you, man.
Enough of all that, let's take it for a drive so I can get that $7,000 Nick Yahoo check.
Let's do it, man.
All right. Just two big dudes in a little Ferrari, huh?
I know how we fit in here, man.
It feels like a hot tub. See how you can hear the turbos now?
Yeah.
Before you couldn't.
No, it wasn't strong.
Yeah.
I can hear them turbos, man.
It's so good,
I can feel them, I can hear them. I almost feel like the engine is running more efficiently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like clean, efficient.
Yeah, you told me that since you bought it, it always felt like something was missing, right?
Yeah, it did.
So that turbo was probably on its way out until it finally blew. So now you could feel the difference?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can.
Oh my God, bro.
Dude, that's the difference I feel. That consistent acceleration.
Right.
Like before, it kind of had a partial acceleration, man. It wasn't really strong.
Yeah.
So it was like...
This thing sat for 6 months.
Yeah.
What went through your head over that 6 months? Did you think about just getting rid of the car? Did you think about just saying, screw it, I'll just pay Ferrari the 50 grand or what?
Yeah, all those things crossed my mind, man, because I love the car. I love driving it. It's a beautiful car.
Right.
It made me sick to my stomach that it was sitting in there.
Right.
I had gone to Ferrari to see what they wanted to charge. And then I said, you know what, that sounds astronomically expensive.
Right.
Now, of course, when you have a car like this, you need to have the money to be able to pay for it. So I could pay for it, but that's not the point. The point is, do I think that it makes sense to spend that much money if I don't have to?
And here's the other part. Ferrari's gonna put those same turbos back in.
Exactly.
And you're gonna end up in the same position.
And then now, obviously with you fixing it, it's a game changer, dude. This guy, I've never loved this car more than now.
Yeah.
It's actually better than what it was before.
Yeah, and I touched on it earlier. You know, like a lot of people see somebody get out of a car like this, or they see a guy like you know, driving a car like this around, and they think, oh, what a rich prick or whatever and stuff. And for us, it's not about showing off. It's not about, you know, proving something or whatever. It's the story. Like for me to go buy a Ferrari growing up with a single mom, all my friends I grew up with are on drugs or whatever, and I made it out of that and I bought a Ferrari. And the man I had to become to go get that Ferrari, that's what it represents. It doesn't represent money. It just represents, you know, what I had to go through to get there.
1,000%. And then people probably, you know, a lot of people, they look at these cars and they go, it's a depreciating asset.
Yeah.
I don't buy it for depreciation or appreciation. I buy it because it's fun.
Yeah.
I love it, the way it makes me feel.
Yeah.
Now, of course, people, it turn heads, man.
Yeah.
People see you in this car and they looking at it and they like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Right.
But it's really about how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
I feel like I am being the man that I want to be, that I'm called to be.
Exactly.
You know, I do a lot of visualization and manifesting, man. And so when I drive this car, this makes me feel like I'm the future Brandon Tatum that I want to be.
Exactly.
And
you kept those promises to little Brandon.
100%.
When Brandon was 10 years old, you fulfilled those promises you made to him.
100%.
That's that, because the car itself, like my Ferrari means nothing to me. I don't build these cars for the cars themselves. It's to build me, build the story.
Yeah.
So
100%, man. And I appreciate I'm a part of your story, man. This is incredible, man. I think that, to be honest, I don't think I would have got it fixed if I couldn't work with you, man. I wasn't gonna spend $50,000.
Yeah.
I would have rather just put it up for sale, let somebody else deal with it, dump it out, and I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And I go get a different one.
And that was the same sentiment I had with my Ferrari. I was like, you know what? Maybe this car is cursed. Maybe I just need to get it out of my life. But it's harder to connect the dots when you're looking forward than looking back.
Right.
And now I look at that, and God had a plan for me. It was certain destiny. I was talking to Tommy, who introduced us, about all the things I had to line up to get to this moment.
Right.
You know, like me becoming Chef Joni on social media, and then me doing a video on his restaurant and it going viral and us becoming friends, and then us meeting at his birthday dinner. And then at the same time I'm rebuilding my Ferrari, your Ferrari blows up. And now we've kind of fortified this relationship that we otherwise wouldn't have had. And so it's really cool to look back on that.
And I'm glad I worked with you,
Yeah.
you know, because I had a couple other people I was reaching out to, and it also was going to take 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, and then you told me, hey, I'll turn it right around.
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, let's do it.
So now Brandon knows, and he can tell you that Chef Joni is who he says he is.
100%.
I will never be the weakest link.
100%. I love that mentality though. You said, because I was talking all that noise, I had to make sure I do it.
Yeah.
And I was okay if you took a couple days, man. That's reasonable. But dude, you called me and say, hey man, it's done. Same day, which is a blessing, man. So we're gonna hit it a little bit and see what it sounds like.
Did you have any doubts? Like, was there anything in the back of your mind when we were setting this whole thing up? Like, maybe I shouldn't give it to this guy on YouTube or anything like that?
Yeah, it crossed my mind a little bit, man. You know, it was like, you know, this is a $300,000 car.
Right.
I don't want to take any chances, but I seen the work that you did before. Tommy, you know, gave you a raving review.
Right.
I met you. You're a genuine guy. I know that you have the skill set to do it. And what do I have to lose?
Right.
Just like you took a chance on me, right? I'm taking a chance on you.
Yep.
And I think in life, sometimes everything don't have to be lined up perfectly.
Right.
Sometimes you got to take a chance, man.
For sure.
Well, sometimes you got to just put your neck out there.
Yep.
You're a good dude. Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
A lot of times people don't get what they want in life, and they don't get the optimum situation they want or desire because they're afraid to take a chance.
So let's rip this thing.
Give it some love.
All right, let's go.
Dude, his car ain't never been that fast.
Yeah.
Man.
What's funny is, remember you were telling me like, oh, can we do bigger turbos? Can we make more power? And I'm like, Brandon, I think you're gonna be all right. So,
yeah, dude, this is all I need. Dude.
Did I steer you wrong?
No, dude, this is all I need.
Because even with traction control on, it'll let you know I'll put you in a wall without you asking.
Yes, you can feel it. And it's such a good car. I'm glad you fixed it for me, dude. That thing would have been sitting in the garage.
I tell you what, like, you're saying thank you to me, but I owe you a thank you as well, because giving me the opportunity to put my hands on this and turn a wrench and learn on it, and you know, you taking that risk is honestly a huge blessing for me and my career and everything I'm working towards. And I'm just thankful to be a part of the story, you know?
I love that, man. I appreciate you, brother.
When I finally left Brandon's warehouse, I couldn't help but think about how crazy this whole thing is. I actually pulled it off. 24 hours and about $5,000 in parts. Brandon had his Ferrari back on the road. And a few years ago, none of this existed. The channel didn't exist, these opportunities didn't exist, and certainly my Ferrari didn't exist. But it's funny because when you're living through life, most moments don't seem that important at all. You build something, you post a video, you meet someone. It all feels insignificant at the time. But years later, you look back and realize those little moments were quietly changing the direction of your entire life. When you tell the story forward, it sounds random. When you tell it backwards, it almost feels impossible. And maybe that's why it's so important to take chances, because you never know which small decisions are going to change everything. So maybe the real project was never the cars. Maybe it was me.